Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the stream. My name is Colin Gestalt, and tonight we will be playing Of the Devil, a sort of investigative RPG, not RPG, VN I recently found out about off of some people's recommendations on Blue Sky. I don't know much to expect. From the trailer at least, it seems kind of like a sort of investigative trial type adventure game. Kind of like Danganronpa or Ace Attorney. Which is nice because I was kind of craving one of these types of games. I have thought about playing Danganronpa, but I wasn't too sure about whether I actually wanted to, because it's been a few years since I played that game, and wouldn't exactly be fresh, but I also wouldn't exactly be like knowing it line for line. But that is a completely different game. Let's get into... Oh, wrong screen. Let's get into this game. Definitely like the art style. It's obviously a game made in Unity, but like just the colors and the sort of vibrancy of the effects and style is just really like it. New case. Episode 0. Turn it down a little bit. Hopefully that's not too bad. Oh wait, yeah, that would be echoing off if I have... No, I don't have desktop audio going. Might just be that loud. Turn myself down a little bit. And that's whatever. Okay. Enough messing around. Of the Devil. Rain sizzles off neon above me. Fuck. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambience. Emphasis on slight. Lights, cameras, constant noise. City's got insomnia, with the uneven heart rate to prove it. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Meiji Carface. Oh, let me actually... Since I have that... There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy that all plenty of Clem... Oh, hearing my own voice is fucking me up. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. Just a wave of worries crested on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, a client of mine is gonna go to jail. Or this client of mine's gonna die in jail. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper, but by the time they're in cuffs, there are hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, even unknown, and always online. Oh, that might explain why it's so frickin' loud. The volume was turned all the way up. Usually have to mix audio before the stream. So it can be like really weird on trying to figure out how loud anything it actually is. Whether it's incandescent, neon, or halo, whether it's LCD. Wait, one second. There's light shining on every pixel of the map, and someone's always watching. Solitude's a rarity, anonymity is scarce. And criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Trying to balance audio. Sorry. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defense work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself in one of the last dark, quiet corners left in this whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until... My phone? Counselor, your public defense contract has been approved. You're expected at the 254th President Precinct. Present your ID at the door to enter. Arrive at least 15 minutes early. I'll try. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now. 20 minutes since I took the job. Probably makes it about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. They're really smart. They'll have to use the time to get some rest. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are gonna get busy. Of the Devil, Episode 0. And he shall appear. Disable tutorials? You can turn them back on in settings. I'll enable it first time playing. Even though it's a visual novel and I don't think there'll be much going on, might as well. Precinct 254. It's a goddamn ghost town. Nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide. High clearance rates be damned. You'd think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. But whatever. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. And I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. Gotta spend it to make it. And if you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. So let's see if I can't poke around and shake some change loose. Okay. Yep. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screening stations. Pragmatic brutalism, so textbook it could teach freshmen level architecture. You can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron high right angles. Civilian planning equivalents of battle scars from a fight won so long ago that they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built, but walking in walking in here now with crime rates where they are, it's like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. I don't know what that was, the chips thing. Search term holograms. Enabled by specialized projectors or mediums like conductive resin, holograms are graphic displays that appear three-dimensional to the human eye. When viewed from part of a... appear three-dimensional to the human eye when viewed by any part of a face range to at least 180 degrees, an effect known as Watterson illusion phenomenon. Originally patented in late 2059, Watterson's phenomenon was initially used exclusively in the adult entertainment industry. Holograms did not become widely adopted as an advertising tool until the much maligned holiday season of 2061, after which laws restricting the presence of holograms in public spaces were passed with uncharacteristically universal support. We're sorry to see that you've installed a subroutine on this device to disable and highlight our recommended premium external links. We understand your drive for personalization, but unauthorized tech impacts our ability to serve you best, most relevant information possible. Consider disabling your subroutine so we can serve you a more detailed browsing experience. Oh, hello, Wumberware. Don't know. Reading list. Interesting. Save game, load game, settings, store. Oh, okay. Sarah, board for playing the demo, clearing. Okay. Okay. Now, I've played quite a few visual novels, especially like games like these. I'd say something like 25th Award, The Silver Case. But definitely don't know what I'm in for when it comes to like an indie game like this, like a straight indie game. Lock phone, there we go. Yes, okay, so a data pad, I'll bite. Even when there's more advertisement than an article, it can still be informative, in a flowery, roundabout, corporate propaganda sort of way. Subway fixes axed city to refocus on canopy. Declaring the subway tunnels to be irreparably flooded, city engineers announced this week that all plans to drain and repair the system were being suspended indefinitely. Saltwater damage to sensitive electronic cabling and erosion of key tunnel fixtures are cited as reasons for why 89% of the subway system was valued as critically compromised or worse. Civilian engineering efforts will be refocused on maintenance and expansion of the hyper-super infrastructure system that weaves together trams, highways, walkways, and skyscrapers into the canopy high above the streets. Reaction to the announcement could be characterized as blasé. It's been years since the subways last ran, and decades since the last ran on a schedule. Most citizens have long since given up hope that they ever making a comeback. Online chatter barely reacted to the announcement, with most commenters and voters announcing focused instead on the growing investigations into Councilman's long campaign finance irregulations. As one of the company's Canopy's major backers in City Hall, Long has often found itself at odds with a small but vocal group of critics that consider it to be an eyesore and an amplifier of light and noise pollution. With Long having stepped away from his political duties in order to have more fully cooperate with the investigators for the last time in nearly 20 years, the typically rock-steady political foundation of the Canopy was looking uncharacteristically shaky going into this week. But with the subways now officially no longer an option, people and corporations alike have little choice for how they complete their morning commutes. However, not all reactions to the news have been negative. At least a few bold individuals see the latest report as vindication, and possibly even a rallying cry. Already considered by many of the rising star in infrastructure solutions abroad, tech startup Subterra made headlines last year with their radical proposal for a system of personal submarine taxi pods that make use of the flooded subway tunnels, but momentum stalled when their first prototype for the city came in a budget of disappointing 3,359% over budget. That one council member was quoted as calling their system mind-bogglingly wasteful and impractical in the extreme. In light of this latest announcement, Subterra has proudly declared their intent to resubmit their proposal package. Across the entire globe, coastal cities like ours have struggled to find civil engineering answers to rising sea levels and subterranean flooding that satisfy financial, practical, and aesthetical concerns. Historically, most scientists have attributed this increase in sea level to climate change, though there are some dissenting voices. Water rises and falls all the time for reasons we do not fully understand. OE2, it appears that you have 0 free articles remaining this month. Please verify your account information in order to continue reading articles that matter. Reading the stories that matter. Ballsy them putting the paywall there, as if I'd reached my wallet after having to read such word like aesthetical. Besides, I got the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city would be focusing its efforts on the canopy. Be an increased scrutiny. The canopy that now that there's no plan B. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lines the pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press at the moment, not when councilman's long already thoroughly chummed the waters. I'm gonna take a few pictures. I really love this game's aesthetic so far. Terms. Datapads. Lightweight portable electronic devices known as datapads have no significant internal storage capabilities and can only be displayed what is streamed to them from local networks, usually marketed as a replacement for ecological wasteful newspapers, magazines, and flyers. Datapads quickly became infamous for the difficulty and expense involving recycling them once their limited lifetime components expired. It wasn't until they rebranded as ideal for privacy and security that datapads found success in the private and public sectors, where their ability to display location-locked data helped corporations minimize data leaks and give their advertisements targeted geographic relevance. Today, datapads are a mainstay of high-traffic public areas and virtual physical hybrid workplaces, despite remaining unpopular with most environments and bibliophiles. Reading list. Subway is abandoned. And then, yeah, that's just that. Turn. Shop. Store credits. Oh, wait. Wait, no, I don't have anything. Don't know what these are for. Let's see, what else? Without immediately going forward. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. The museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty Forgotten probably likes probably lots of unpacked boxes. This is homicide department's more like an addict. Hard to believe they were ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the lobby. Again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did he know that traumatic events memory formation is blah 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 blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel and altering billable hours. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore, even when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording. Assuming their phone doesn't automatically file a police report for them. I really wonder what this is for. Examine, yeah, I think that's everything. The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, so I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. Maybe probably null the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-1 ratio of public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. There's a few missing persons too. 1 year of silver playing coverage courtesy of Catechus as a reward for any silver is no joke. Family must be getting desperate. Alright. I've taken all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. Boot up fine. So far, so good. Good morning. Morgan, here for public defense contract. Oh. Conductive resin. Those outwardly resembles plastic or glass. Conductive resin is actually an electromagnetic polymer used a wide variety of stationary or portable devices where its unique properties allow it to act as both a display and a processor, enabling ultra-thin or even transparent electronics. Though there are upwards of 100 different patented variants of conductive resin, each intended for different use cases, industries, and environments, but they are all fairly lightweight and fragile, except for the small handful formulated from military and security applications. Because of this widespread use of high turnover products such as datapads and smartphones, producers of conductive resin are frequently accused of engineering obsolescence by consumer rights groups, though some claims have never been proven before a court. Screen cracked, schedule fix here. And profiles. Born December 26th. I don't know how tall that is. 1 second. Centimeters, 2 feet. Oh, about 5'9", okay. AB negative. Criminal defense attorney. Puzzles, smoking wooden furniture. Commercials, hairdressers jogging, could fall asleep in any position. Decaf, whiskey sour. Oh, she's even got the little defense lawyer bolo tie. The southern lawyer sweating in the courtroom. Can you please provide your name and... Great, please stand still for a moment. I would call intake colors charming. More like harmless. That's probably what designers were aiming for. People don't mind a quirk or two in their tech, so long as it never speaks out of turn. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far so good, was it? Say, why don't you scan my ID card? Great. Now you could just confirm your date of birth for me. Why do you even bother asking? My date of birth is on the damn ID card and my profile. I'd have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem, my birthday is... 26, okay. Perfect. Good morning, Morgan Counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and taking on public defense attorney. If you're ready to speak out to our client, you can proceed to Counselor Quarter C3. Is that what you're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? Sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. You can keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it involuntary wellness check room if they like. It doesn't change the way it makes a person feel, sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection dually warped across gunmetal walls. Morgan, Counselor, can I help you with anything else? Why the disrepair? Note the city's not terribly concerned with the lower wards. This is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty? This facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It's been 22 months since the timetable was last updated. Well, I don't see a lot of action around here, do they? Sorry for any inconvenience I might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? Are you even gonna fix that crack? Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? What are you? I'm a smart user interface, proudly sold by Nobel Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I can send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Did I send you a link with information about our subscription packages? No? Sorry. That was a mean question to ask. That'll be all, thank you. You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office, through the door to your right. Thanks. But I think it's just me for now, so you could go on break if you like. Automated dependents do not take breaks, Morgan, counselor. What were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the counseling quarters past our homicide detective's office. Through the door to the right. Through the door to the right, thank you. Ads don't get breaks. They don't get any of my ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. It's usually the humorless types that are the more fun ones to mess with Anyway. Oh, nice to have the specific song eliminated. Eyes gone bad or something? No voices coming from down the hall. Compared to yours? Probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. Filling this empty. Desk would have just told me to follow the echoes. One voice sounding older, rougher, and decidedly low energy. Appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try to be serious. The other rings with youthful indignation. It's not like the job is important or anything. Definitely cops. At this precinct, at this hour, there might be only 2 living, breathing people in this whole complex. Because why else would you bother to print all that out? One document or 100 looks the same on a data pad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file in hand. Makes them think you know better than the priest, their mother, their big brother. I wasn't gonna say that. So how many of these sheets were blank then? No red carpet tonight, officers. Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep any extra hands around these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. But mostly cheaper. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan Esquire, pleased to meet you. Same here, counselor. Quasem, London. Actually, let me check the terms. Automated dependent. Abbreviated as AD and referred to in common conversation as ad or ads. Automated dependent is a catch-all term encompassing robots, intelligent programs, interactive holograms, and androids, as more present both digitally and physically in every industry and nation on the planet, assisting in everything from data management to physical labor. In the mid-21st century, lobbyists pushed through the new tax classifications that defined intelligent machines that were neither salaried employees nor mere equipment. Because it afforded tax breaks and lighter tariffs, the term became so commonly used it spread to all branches of the robotics industry, from what point it began to penetrate into everyday speech and pop culture. Some sociologists agree that term owes its popularity not simply to its brevity and prevalence, but to its ability to draw a distinction between commonplace robots and the internationally illegal artificial intelligences. Searching for this term may incur an account flag. Reading more about the cooperate with the authorities to combat disinformation here. Profile London. Some London. Weight, height. Okay, about probably 5'11", I'm imagining. Something like that. Homicide detective, first class, photography, dive bars, bangs. Dislikes ties, pulling, after hours work messages, podcasts, hobby, pencil sketching, frequently running late. Yep, that's everything. What is this? Search terms. Shop. harmless. White phone case. Don't think there's anything else I could do. Settings. High roller mode. Phone opacity. Resolution. No. Okay. In this ball of sunshine, here is my partner, Vera Reyes. Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Sorry if you were kept waiting. Travel between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Give me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? She can't be more than a few years younger than me. How old is she? Okay, it doesn't say year at all. Probably about like 5'6". What type A minus? Homicide detective, 3rd class. Likes rice, limes, automotive history. Dislikes liars, small plates, cheap people. Enjoys watching Predator reviews. Bad at games of chance. Wide Eye, OS, Iris, Elite 89. We're at the the detectives in charge of this particular case. It looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouse before. Never struck you as more than just some old-timer. Suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in of itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt is still looks ironed. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene. No, we're not nearly that timely. Uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes. Calls, plural, must have been quite the commotion. Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We were only tapped for circumstances at the scene indicated involvement with an ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? May as well bite at this point. So, you suspect that this client of mine is involved in some separate criminal activity? Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a little professional courtesy. A fair warning, yeah? That's the heartbreak killer in the room. And we got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass the shitstorm on to some other night owl and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer. The covered utilities at the rock you live under? Is there a problem? Seriously not familiar with HK? Never heard of him. Never heard enough of him for a lifetime. Sorry. Heard enough of him for a lifetime. His name has been plastered all over the city for weeks. Rhymes wavering between breaking news and urban legend. The presumed goal is flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unprecedented vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net, everyone's indulging in the same kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now, I need to figure out how much the police do or don't know. When it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender? Is it the killer part that tipped you off? Must have at least heard his MO. Media's gone crazy with it. Along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart, body left to lie where it falls. Hence name Heartbreak. Heartbreak. Unknown, criminal killing, Dislikes getting caught, probably read, probably not into astrology. Suspended due to influx of false reports. Not exactly creative, but amidst the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality. What you won't read about online is all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun, without even needing to reload. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? Pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at the shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great, but shooting 6 people with accuracy like that is a whole different beast. Jake is a certain kind of monster, a real freak. His pulse probably doesn't even rise. I see. I almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that... No, it's not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madam. Of course, my mistake. So all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky. Guess they're all firing blanks. Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades. They don't commit murder. Right. People like Heartbreak is all organic. That's a pretty terrifying thought. Should really start paying more attention to the news. Probably managed to make 6 murders. Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? Still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago. When we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. Is she convinced that my client is this heartbreak killer and tonight was just his latest crime? That's a serious accusation with very serious consequences. I take it you have serious evidence to back it up? As being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When we found your client, he was covered in her blood. Well, that's not good, is it? What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that your lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all there in the discovery files, in the ARCs, of course. Join the local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, detective. I'll be sure to read it over. Terms. ARCs. Augmented Reality Crime Scene is an investigative tool in which data harvested for the sensors worn on the first responders is used to reconstruct a digital scene of a pristine crime scene. Programmed and distributed a small number of tech corporations and frequently modified or even personalized by local municipalities, ARC systems are used by every major police force, most insurance investigators, and many law firms. After its introduction in the early 2060s, technology briefly came under public scrutiny in the independent news organization United Mediacasters, releasing in a series of reports claiming that ARC's data was regularly edited by corrupted officials to reach state secrets. These reports were later found to be fake, and the UMC was exposed as the subsidiary of a cell corporation within Lambda Work Solutions, were marketing a number of alternatives to ARC's technology at the time. Board members at Lambda denounced the actions of said cell and offered assistance to their former competitors in suing leadership at UMC, but the proceedings and settlements in those lawsuits remained sealed. So, this game takes place in at least, I would say, the 2070s. Which would make sense, because they mention, like, oh, the 2060s, as in, like, past tense, as in they're out of the decade. Yeah, that makes sense. Not too um not too unsure about that. But I do wonder if it's like when exactly it's taking place. I mean, uh it's still the how do I put it? It's still a like sci-fi game. I just don't know really much of the history that's going on between like now and then. But if it's all the same, could I ask you two some questions while I got you here? Hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of attorney, just that pleasant. Come on, Sunshine, not like you're gonna be punching up anytime soon, right? Whatever. Clients do an interrogation cell. Let your clients do an interrogation cell all night for all I care. Interro? You mean the counseling quarters? We're at your disposal, counselor. Okay, and then I can search around here. Barren, spark, and uninviting. This must be Ray's desk. Keep working on your workstation. Neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single mode of personalization. So she knew she hasn't spent had. So she knew. She so knew that she hasn't had time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Both, maybe. Shouldn't have cleaned up that much just for little me, Detective London. Someone really needs to interrogate this guy to a filing system, or introduce this guy to a filing system, or even just a stapler, for documents scattered about lazily alongside actual photographs. These really old fashions are really paranoid about data leaks. He doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, for Lena's aside, some things are better on paper. I'll give him that. Yeah, it just looks like those two are all I have left to look at. Bolstered by a strong earnings support in the surging sales of the Animate 16, Noble Electronics stock rose by a stunning 3% this week to a new record high, while Noble's latest iteration has yet to surpass the sheer popularity of its predecessors. An increased profit margin has left Noble's shareholders very enthused. Many investors were skeptical then. At their infamous 2084 trade convention, Noble announced that the 16 line would be the first generation of Androids to feature over 50% organic components. Okay, we're at least probably in the 2090s, imagine, or at least the late 2080s. So-called warm androids, which at the time only saw demand in the health, senior, and child care sectors, were looked down upon as impractical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. While some critics voiced concerns that fringe religious or traditionalist groups might find warm androids controversial, more business-focused minds fear that Noble was alienating its customers in the industrial and military sectors in order to cater to civilian consumers, users that viewed their androids more across the room and not above the factory floor. However, as has often been the case in the last decade, Noble's doubters were proven wrong. The Animate 16 is poised to break profitability records with no signs of slowing down. The many On-street analysts predict that these once rare organic androids will completely replace their more robotic predecessors in daily life within the next 3 to 5 years. As described in the earnings report, much of the 16th line's success, and indeed success of the Noble's androids in general, can be attributed to the remarkable, lifelike, personable charm of their products, and by all accounts, that charm be attributed to the work of Noble famed lead programmer Dr. David Asher. Lead programmer, the understatement of the century, said Noble brand ambassador Lucy Dees, an account on stage at the latest Noble Industrial Weekend. It's because of his Turing solution that every Noble product, from the sleekest assistants to the most advanced intensive care technicians, so beloved and trusted by our consumers. While his reputation was on full display at the event, Dr. Asher himself was nowhere to be seen. He's always been reclusive, but he's become a genuine hermit in recent years. Oh. Are we really to believe he's still... Hey fam, looks like you're not logged into this device. Please put in your account info so we can help to keep your reading. He's in the news again. No wonder he can't spit without landing on a piece of Noble tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. No feel bite when it comes to worm androids though. For government use, they're just... too expensive. They're just too damn expensive to justify. Wait, what am I thinking? No state's ever had a problem spending money on overpriced crap. Okay, then I'm probably gonna miss out on some of the things it wants me to answer. No, yeah, it literally just did make a big point of like how frail they were. Loose wires, missing panels, an aircon system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. No room in the budget of making the office look good like shit. Expect to find a belt tightening at Homicide, but I didn't think their operation would be this bare bones. Got a stunning clearance rate and they work fast. Guess the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Maybe their job is easy, with our dear doting surveillance state limiting so much of the footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. So this Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. A dumping ground for the police force most ambiguous and least popular. Okay, nothing else jumps out at me around here. Got a better idea of who I'm dealing with at least. Now I need to check out the crime scene data. Should have been sent a leak. Granted access to state files regarding case KL 43351. Press C to confirm. Confirm. You need to reply C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I am an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to reply C. C. It's case sensitive. C. Thank you. Link.exe. Yep. Right, if I project from my phone. Oh, nice. Augmented reality crime scene. Alright, let's see what the police have and what they think is important. Well. Looks like I can only examine the stuff right in front of me. Seems like this space got tossed aside at some point. But there's not a scratch on it. Must be pretty damn durable. Aren't supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. Stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here. It was a hard hit, hard enough to come attached from his arm while shards of glass were scattered. Hard enough to land on the victim's body. What a mess. Okay, then if they landed on the victim's body, then that must have been knocked over after the victim was killed or attacked or whatever. Evidence, glass shards. glass from Mir found at the crime scene. Said Mir was low-tech furnishing with no bars and glass and... Okay. Base. Weighing sturdy, it remains featureless even after being tossed. Reading list. Notable androids. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. Murder weapon, a revolver, found right next to the body. 6 empty casing found in each of the chambers, meaning the gun's been fired 6 times. Looks like the crime scene techs particularly disassembled the whole damn thing. But all they found were fingerprints belonging to my client. So he's found by the police with a murder weapon right in front of the body. I don't even know where to start. Highly judicial. Be an understatement. The victim's body. Cause of death. Ballistic trauma. Case for blood loss. Atrium and aorta. Single gunshot wound. To the heart. In brief, death was instantaneous. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under his nails. Blood splatter, forensics, all the other good stuff tells them that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. That's all big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this. No signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. Look at the rest of the room. There's not much else flagged here. Lunch chairs thrown in whatever that is. Unidentified ceramic debris? Fact is irrelevant. That's their technical assessment? Guess even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. That's everything the police highlighted. Didn't miss anything. No, what's that pink thing? The hell is that? Something in the victim's hand. What the hell is a pill or it's just a pill organizer? Looks like something immune advisors, NSAIDs, and triprozaxone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medicine, taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. The autopsy said her talk screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. Could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is all very incriminating, but the killer's everything is not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs, nothing that points towards anyone except my clients. Well, I've done more with less before. Not too much here. Really gotta have to sing for my supper this time. Better get started. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? IoT, Internet of Things. The Internet of Things refers to the network data sharing that goes on between all the countless electronics that we monitor ourselves with. Phones, computers, security systems, biofeedback devices, body modifications and prosthetics, and of course, automated dependents, all comprise small but vital parts of this network. Without IoT's ability to collect, process, and share information, massive opportunity costs built up as individuals, governments, and private businesses miss out on the valuable insight that data has to offer. One of the coolest ways that IoT improves our lives is through the use of crumbs, small packets of data containing your own unique identifying information. Throughout your day, as your own IoT devices say hi to other devices, they'll leave behind crumbs as a parting gift. Crumbs allows for paperless identification payment and help the government manage human and vehicular traffic. Crumbs let you see where you've been so that you can see where you should go. Let's start leaving crumbs right away? Don't worry, crumbs are enabled by default. Not interested in premium sponsorship search results? See further with a premium account. And evidence. Revolver will maintain but old, has Flat's left hand, fingerprints on it. Autopsy report, cause of death, A single bullet pierced subject sternum. Left, there's some handwriting in the bottom of the scanned document. Some pen work was permissive to confirm ballistics match too. Debris? Ceramic debris of indeterminate origin found at the crime scene. Found on the far side of the room by the western window. Technician's note. Flag is irrelevant on next pass. Pills organizer. Common brand of pill organizer found on the victim's grasps. Contains a number of prescriptions and over-the-counter medications, including immune adjusters. Rising class are surprisingly difficult to open. Victim was too short. Nonetheless, the capture confirmed no. Okay. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is, I suppose it could be something important. Red. I couldn't wait until morning. Good news, of course. Got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. Lol, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with just a keyboard and phishing scheme. I need you to sue my gym teacher. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What do they do? Making you run laps? Not illegal. Let me finish! They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomachache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Deprived indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you've already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. Was it the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. See? Is that your mugshot? Was it gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction? Glad you found a use case. I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? Is that the kind of morbid thing kids your age talk about? Teens my age. And yeah, we can read. Where did the corrupt shit in the headlines? Old-fashioned murder like Hardy B is like, wait. It's not heartbreak. Then why'd you take the job, lol? You see this 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? You take up lost cause, pro bono's work? It's pro bono. That was autocorrect. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concerned nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. I'm not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's up with the Carpe Diem shit? It's nearly 4 AM, kid. Felt like you've got school in like 3 hours. Shit. Repeat offenders may be cut up for business, but that gets bad for my blood pressure. Important text messages, I take it. Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. Androids and cops. Either way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff. It's 3 in the morning. Expecting a parade. I thought there'd be at least a few androids around. How many androids at any police station this week? Now while the brass is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with mobile? Good guess. Hardly. They're the biggest... Hardly. They're the biggest robotics corp there is. Can spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have the headquarters here. Saves us money on shipping at least. But these talks never last long. I'm sure they'll be back to the writing checks from Noble ads at the end of the month. Even with Nobile pushing these warm androids? Warm, might as well call it adult line. Might seem in the bigger departments are out on the patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, they're not such as an android detective yet. Any day now. Guess we should be expecting those any day now. Maybe android lawyers too. Got some android politicians in and we have the full set. People might like ads who do what they're told. They're desperate, but they despise ads who tell them what to do. I'm not so sure. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already got all our facts from machines. Give a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. The police union won't let that happen. She shouldn't have suspected, but it's the only real union there is anymore. Heartbreak. Checking my phone here, I have to say... sorry. Done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HK's crimes a secret. Less reputable sites are done some real journalistic acrobatics trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It's not just journalists though, all kinds have been emboldened. Freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few weeks. Can you blame them though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Defenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with... We know he's gotten away with what? What he's gotten away with. Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registry is robust through that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen. Violent crimes at an all-time low and the clearance rate at all-time highs. But you're gonna spout some alt-pol bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than any other time in history, detectives. So when something like Heartbreak does come along... Good point. London's trying to look like he can laugh it off. But pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They maybe need to see someone charged. That makes them predictable. Yeah, well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates that we starve the media for case details. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. We can't take all the credits this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. Why's that? Because none of the shootings were caught on the opt-in crime surveillance system. How's that even possible? I know that there are some rough areas in Lower Wards, but Optics is watching every other street in this entire city. You're saying you haven't seen the killer on camera once? You think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concern, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says, but, in the name. Good killer. Hey there, looks like you've trying to search for a term related to an ongoing investigation. Until authorities have made their findings public, results may be heavily curated for temporarily unavailable. Read more about how cooperate with authorities to combat disinformation here. Optics. The Optic Criminal Surveillance System, abbreviated as Optics, is a partnership program between the state and private enterprises that allows for the free sharing of surveillance security data to better promote and persevere public safety. Accessible through state employee logins or private partner accounts, Optics Smart UI allows for users to search through and correlate footage from the city of tens of thousands in just a few simple keystrokes. Optics is frequently cited in state reports as one of the most effective tools in reducing crime. Footage from optics often serves as key evidence in criminal proceedings, where it is considered admissible by default. People versus Irwan. Users also frequently search for public security measures in my area, daily security level. I understand your concern, ma'am, but optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance systems signing up to feed into the state's security network. It's not perfect, just another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. It's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to help us solve crimes, or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Bad chance, deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this wouldn't care less about anything as big as the consequences of their actions. It's like a safety blanket, one with a few holes in it. But it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, but the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. You see, those windows of opportunity are small and short. Sorry. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved in law enforcement, club data, or city planning. I'd mention it if my client was a cop and wouldn't have a needed public defender either. This file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interference, so that I just leave city planning. So does he work construction for the city? HK is only ever struck at times in locations where optics would be down, even with the devil's own luck. Can possibly be coincidence. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed, yeah, there's a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight, right on schedule, so to speak, and include the area surrounding the victim's apartment. Well, what about data from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect data at any of the crime scenes. No footage and no forensics. Also no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon until now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics, no matter how you dress it up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we even caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along. So is my client on the list of suspects before tonight? You listening? There's no list of suspects. Imagine some executives, a few CI, someone even spoke to one or two unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, there's only one thing we have. The only thing that could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can joust that keystone, then the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Timeline. I saw the time of death was 9 PM on the autopsy. Do you have a timeline for the rest of the night's events? I don't trust much of what comes out of his mouth. Well, we've managed thanks to less biased sources. And we're pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they've interviewed witnesses. Sounds eerily similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguably loud with another, starting around 8 PM. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us all about the happy couple's domestic problems. Everyone in the building knew that they'd been fighting for weeks. You probably gathered from what we saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture tossed over, glass shattered, but things go quiet somewhere before 9 PM. Then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the air to get a timestamp, but we heard enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time. Right, Emergency service got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound of what it was. The silence that follows pretty universally alarming. Officers arrived in the street at 9:08 p.m., establishing a perimeter, entering through the front door at 9:10, and then they found our client, crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood, at which point they moved to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand, singular? Your client's modded cybernetic right arm. Not scrubbing. First, the process of scrubbing all available data posted at the time within a certain amount of time frame. Location range for evidence of a crime of an increasing common technique for police departments, corporate investigators, and occasionally public relations firms. When a brute force work is performed by automatic dependents, either digital or physical, experienced human supervisors must establish strict search constraints in order to produce usable results. Interest in the practice spiked when Senator Bancroft positioned it as a key pillar of his party's law and order platform, but pollings indicated that voters rarely held a strong opinion on the process, and topic was since faded from public discourse. Mods. Body modifications, aka mods, is a term that may refer to cybernetic prosthesis, artificial implants, neural enhancements, or any combination of the above. While body modifications have been seen throughout history and across a wide range of cultures, the modern body modification movement is differentiated by a shift from intrinsic factors, expression or identity, to extrinsic motivators, job opportunities, technological benefits, improvement in physical or mental ability. Historically, mods have been classified based on what section of the user's spinal cord that interfacing occurs, thoracic, lumbar, or cervical. But this system does not account for mods which interact directly with the human brain. This increased prevalence of so-called above-the-neck modding in certain years has led to several corporations and medical organizations proposing their own new classification systems, but so far none have gained such traction. Users are also frequently searched for, can you return mods, can you undo mod surgery, best for you neural implants 2086. Evidence codes. Coat the suspect is wearing when taken into custody, taken by lab techs for additional analysis, but initial tests show blood on the left sleeve matches that of the victim. So they were at least there. So, let me think. So the case for the pills was hard to open, and it was open when they were laying on the ground. The smashed mirror had bits on top of the victim. It's hard to imagine the victim died in place without like spilling all the pills everywhere. Almost wonder if it was a thing of like the victim got attacked in their home, or like had a sort of cybernetic episode. So the person in question tried to help them or whatever, and they like were on the floor, and then somebody came and shot them while they were trying to help them off the floor. Some things don't add up in terms of the details of the case. How modded are we talking about here? Registered with how 85 have Bliss, industrial grade looks like. He's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 KPA, which means minimal grip strength of, well, basically, you could crush your neck with even gritting his teeth. Consider a career change. No, it's not that. It's just, I must be very sensitive for you to put that patch back on each time. But here I thought you just had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. Think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? Getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. Couldn't work without it. When he got tight. The arguing? Yeah? When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Well, no chance he'll be willing to chalk that up to coincidence. Klein was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver, and no one else's. Revolver? What kind? The old kind. The real old kind. More specifically, Calver M54, 6-chambered, 10mm. Calver? How retro. Howe Industries Habilis 2085 mechanical limb boasts an impressive combination of grip strength, dexterity, and low cost of maintenance. Success of it and its sister products were a long way towards securing the state contracts for Howe Industries. Revolver. More specific. There's fingerprints. Yeah. Yeah. Term Calver, manufacturer of civilian firearms from 2031 to 2062, when it was brought out by Thortec, an acquisitions group specializing in security and national defense, now a subsidiary of the Lock-Quinn Defense Corporation. Though no guns have bore the Calver branding since production halted in 2060, the once iconic brand has specifically revived in 2071 Q2 with a series of video game memorabilia tie-in promotions meant to increase in-game item sales before being discontinued in 2071 Q3 after failing to increase in-game item sales. Calver, how retro. You know, the half of it, we're talking steel chamber, real gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How was that? Just how old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, time-stamped trigger pulls. Safety is coded to owner biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags have been shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think he'd have gotten away with these 5 other times? Sorry, just stretching. If he tried to buy a gun legit, he'd probably fail the very first psych check. Even jailbird prices only go good for so long before update withdrawals set in. So then M54, that's model year 2054, a 30-year-old gun. Well, it sure complicates things, doesn't it? I guess we're in, like, 2084, then. That makes sense. In some ways, sure. But pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old, too. Novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. Now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. With the protocols they found, the techs were able to match the rifling marks on all 6 bullets to the gun Klein was found with. Rifling marks. Bullets fired from guns that are older marked by the barrel's shape. So if all 6 bullets had the same rifling marks, we know that they were all fired by the same gun. not as plug-and-play as tags are. Equally precise science, I assure you. And if it's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber, without even needing to reload. However, your client was found with is the gun that HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lure around that. An untagged gun, just being anywhere near a weapon like that could warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with an untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, you believe that my client fought verbally then physically with his girlfriend, then he retrieved the weapon and shot her? Yeah, pretty much. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his affect? Quiet, detached, stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. She may have lost some points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. So long as police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. How about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Baker Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50. Okay, so like a 40-minute discrepancy between like his actual arrest and when the incident likely occurred. That's homicide for self-insurance at birth, industrial class 4. Using his middle name already? I really do think he's a serial killer. Charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, Miss Diane Dawn. First degree? That's increasingly rare, to say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything with crimes of passion around here. City's got damn near more cameras than people, so you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with the murder. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what's that make him? 5 times, and that makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. Evidence. Victim. 27-year-old agriculture genetics researcher for Peregrine Laboratories. Found shot to the home. No known connections. But nut jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think he was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsies scrolling up and down their online profiles. Nothing. So the serial killer chooses victims at random if they have nothing in common? They had nothing in common at all, other than that they all look like cousins. The physical similarities are striking. Digital autopsy. Law enforcement process of locating, bypassing authorization on, investigating all of a deceased individual's online profiles, commonly used to seek out possible connections, suspects, or other victims. Widely utilized practice has been scrutinized in the past by some privacy advocates. Many victims' families who lack the ability to find, let alone access all of their deceased loved ones' accounts, argue for its necessity. Comparable processes are offered as paid service by some legal or funeral groups to help next of kin recover or delete sensitive personal data. At times, these services have been marketed as defense against data criminals who attempt to steal the identities of the dead before their accounts are wiped by state processes. Users also frequently search for grave cobbling, how to stop stolen identity, how to delete dead profile. I'm gonna step away for a second, I gotta check on something. Alright, I'm back. Like, earlier today, I was making a chili. You know, like, I put it in, like, right before the stream started. So, the recipe called for it to be like a oven, baked in an oven. So I went and pulled it out, and tasted it and seasoned it. Turned out well, I think. Let me get back to the game. Physical similarities are striking. 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about same height, comparable weight. While those features aren't exactly uncommon, can it be a coincidence? Do you really believe that you could quit your job, start buying lotto tickets? HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You really gotta try and tell me you don't see the resemblance. Young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from the portrait. I can take a hint. So you think, what exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly that he went out and shot 5 other women first? Hey, if the shoe fits. Shoe fits. Then you put the shoe on the... What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Drifters, loners, strangers, workers. It was probably building up to the nerve of tonight by first practicing on these other similar women. Or just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. It's not the worst theory in the world. It doesn't fit. They want to claim these previous victims were practice runs, dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there would have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There'd have been mistakes, on top of which guns are impersonal execution shots, even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. Killing your girlfriend and her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. If you ask me. Thanks to the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. Even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought for a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly gonna have to work hard to convict someone of his guilt. Why is that? Because he found a handwritten confession at his desk? Well, that's, unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession? Has it been verified? Not yet. You had to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get in front of that line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you, doesn't exactly make for a light reading. But I managed somehow. I need to see this confession myself. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen. Couldn't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at first. But I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but I didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough. I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. That was difficult to read. Really legible, in fact. Yeah. Well, got a spin on that? No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession he signed, though, is it? Not yet. Not one he needs to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for her lawyer and got you. Guess we're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can't afford to turn my tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing the man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. That's for your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them are redheads. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak with him alone for now. Camera's off if you don't mind. Mic's on or off is your call, counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff, that is, stays on. You're worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my arm is practically blinding. Gross. Start up the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I suggest you help him sign that confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of a defense attorney isn't just for show, detective. I mean it. 6 people died is one thing, but it's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. Not even if death penalty is not actually on the table these days. I guarantee he's not going to be like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual world release program in person, and it's being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from, well, that's probably one for your client, right? Terms, virtual work release. Hey there, due to ongoing controversial following the suspected suicide of inmate Jay Gallet, search results for this term are temporarily blocked. Read more about how to cooperate with authorities to combat disinformation here. Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty. That much is true. It saves the courts a great deal of time and money. They show their gratitude with reduced sentencing, but no one will be grateful towards the heartbreak killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people will never rest their mind another day in their life. Okay, it is 2086. You know what, they probably said that in the beginning and I just missed it. It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. Carlos flat, right? You don't mind if I get comfortable. Got a lot to cover. This shouldn't take all night. Look, I already told you people, I'm not a cop, Carlos. First thing from it. I'm a lawyer. You're a lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you. Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there and here kept repeating it the whole ride over. They said they were going to help me. They knew this was all a mistake. And they said I killed, acting like they were on my side. They thought It's not their job to help you, Carlos. It is mine. And I'm here now. He's still in shock. Need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. Sure, you're exhausted. Probably difficult to think. Let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure. They were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay. So what do you want to do now? I'm actually going to, save and then get back to this at another time. I have no idea how long this, prologue is going to be. So I think this is a good stopping point, you know? And then I think I could probably do the other half, because I imagine it's going to be questioning and then the actual trial. So yeah, I'll stop here for now. Then we can get back to it the week after next. We continue, so can I not? Oh, I can't go with the bonus things till later. But yeah, anyway, that'll be it for today. I'm really enjoying this. I really love the art style. I think the gameplay has just that little bit more that like adds to the experience of a visual novel, this sort of ADV game. So yeah, it will definitely be in the rotation of games I'll be playing on the regular, probably alongside Ultra Kill. But yeah, I want to thank the person who followed, made you Carface, always good. Thank you Wumbleware for being in the chat. And yeah, I think that'll be it for tonight. I will be streaming Enna Dream Barbecue tomorrow, since it releases the first episode. And I hope you have a good night. Bye!